We already know that the Ghana card is being touted as a way of now tracing the people who before were not being traced with the tax identification number. So we can now find the people and then know how much they're spending to be able to tax them. So now that we have this platform that is coming into operation, is it necessary to add the e-levy, especially because it might make mobile money very unattractive and it possibly hurts that mobile money sector?
Yeah, that mobile money being an attractive question, I think. Honorable Minister, what do you have to say?
I don't know. You know, we have waited patiently to come to this level. I think in 2016, we had about 78 billion CDs of transactions going through the system. Today, we have close to 500 billion, and I suspect we'll get to 1 trillion, you know, in short order. So clearly, we as a society have begun to recognize the convenience of this and an ability, therefore, literally to shift the banking system in a way that has come there. So what, you know, as I begin to think about tax handles in the future, some tax handles naturally will drop because nobody is using them for you to tax. This is really the transition, and that's what we are doing to make sure that in this time we are all kind of part of it in contributing into this inclusiveness and burden sharing that will be necessary for the transformation ahead.
Apeku, what question do you have?
Okay, so moving forward, don't you think governments, the central government, should spend less for the purpose of sustained economic development? So free SHS should be narrowed to those who actually need it. Infrastructural developments should be left to district assemblies, and central government should only spend when needed. And also looking at the entrepreneurship project or program, is there a need for us to actually look at the education the young people receive? Because there is a stark contrast between the education we receive in school and this. Most people are trained to be employees and not employers. So we should try and, don't you think there is a need to look at the education also?
Great.
He's asking for you to stop spending on free SHS in the way that we do.
Yeah, you know, free SHS is interesting because what is the philosophy? The philosophy is that you want Ghanaians to be educated. Every citizen has his right. I happen to be born by Kweku or whatever. But if Kweku decides to be irresponsible, should that affect that baby citizen?
It shouldn't.
It shouldn't.
But if,
it shouldn't.
If Kweku is responsible, and
but I can't put, you know, I can barely put Kweku in prison, you know, for deciding
not to look after the child.
Not to look after, to a certain degree, unless there's abuse, etc., etc. And I can't afford that as a nation, as I begin to build up my people. So yes, there'll be some inefficiencies. Will there be moral suasion? Will also there be a point in time where I can truly calculate your income to be able to effect that? And I think maybe we are getting to that level. But let's never forget that it is about that citizen, not about that citizen's parent or aunt or whatever.
So are we envisaging a period where all ID cards and everybody is known, everybody's income is known, where we'll have a situation where people will be identified as needing free SHS and others will be identified as not needing it?
You have a clarity on people's income. Okay, and so you qualify, I think in the States, you qualify for scholarships if you have a certain level of income in certain places. So there'll be a system to validate, okay, and then you can get more sophisticated with that. But truly, let's just not keep, you know, our eye off the ball that it's about that citizen who has a right to be educated, irrespective of the lineage or whatever it comes from. There's a moral shame for me to go and drop my child in Wesley Girls and walk away not paying anything with my income. But hey, you know, but I suspect that it will grow, you know, with time when we can validate, and then we'll take a different view about that. I think you raise an interesting issue about central government and also about the educational system that we have, as to bringing in entrepreneurship as a course that you have to take, or business, you even know how to write an invoice, you know, that whole sense of thriftness that we have to do. So yes, we'll do that. Empowering the districts so that the technical capacity is there. And I think that's our challenge going forward, because then you can decentralize a lot more, because with these property taxes, there's a whole new wave of resources that are going to go to the district. And the question is whether the management systems in there have the capacity to use that so that you can absorb these JHS students, to do the sanitation, etc., and create these jobs in the local environment to do that.
Interesting. Matilda?
All right, so my question is about how we can be guaranteed that this YouStart initiative is not going to become a connection-based initiative.
Yeah.
I'd like to just simply add one more, which is on behalf of all trained teachers. They want to find out about the financial clearance for the recruitment of trained teachers of 2020. They said their financial clearance has not been given till now, and they would really love you to comment on that.
Great, yeah.
So how is it not going to be a whom YouStart?
Yeah, I think that's a problem that in going around the country was an issue and that came up really strongly. But there's a whole computerization system that is going to be set up, the distribution of the outlets between NEA, NEIP, and the major banks are going to be national. And the beauty of digitalization is that, it goes beyond the personal. So I don't need to be part of a party for me to put my application in there and for it to be assessed, or for you to come for the training, which will be as wholesale as possible. And then you move on to the next categorization of that. So we'll continue to tighten it, but I think it's going to be such a national program that truly, this issue should hopefully should diminish, with time. Yeah.
I see.
And then the financial clearance, I'm working on a lot of financial clearances, so I will get to that too. Yeah.